Hey everyone, what's up? It's me, Master Walrus 9, back with a new episode of Walrus's TCG Dailies. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Today I want to play Quaquaval. This deck is going to be focused on Quaquaval EX, but not only that, just Quaquaval in general. Let's see what happens. The Quaquaval EX has a pretty decent move, Spiral Shot. Put 2 energies into your hand as a cost alongside a blue and a colorless, but it does 230, which honestly isn't terrible damage. I mean, that's going to be enough to one-tap an unaffected Roaring Moon EX. There's also Exciting Dance. Switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. If you do, switch out your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench. They get a pick. So it's essentially Escape Rope, but they have to pick, or you pick first. So it's like almost like a reverse escape rope. For 60 damage, it's not terrible. But the big thing is going to be Spiral Shot. You might be thinking, though, putting 2 energy into your hand, you're always going to be low on the curve. Well, you could run some cards like Excalibur to cheat out the energy. But you could also pair it with just Quaquaval from Scarlet Violet base, which has the ability Energy Carnival. Once during your turn, soft once per turn, you may attach a basic energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon. So it's not limited by the type of energy you're using or the type of Pokemon you're using, but it being a stage 2 and it being only 1 energy from your hand, it's not great like Excalibur for water decks. However, for our purposes, it's sufficient enough. I mean, the Quaquaval EX only requires 2 energy. Suicune V only requires 2 energy and it doesn't bounce to the hand. Radiant Greninja requires free energy, but we can really cheat it out kind of faster thanks to our Quaquaval. I'm pairing up with 4 copies of Quaxly and 2 copies of Quaxwell in order just to have some consistency on our evolution. We're running a B-Barrel draw engine just to stay consistent. I personally prefer it in a situation like this compared to the Curlia or Liepard, I believe that's the Pokemon that evolves from Purloin. Finally finishing up, there's Manaphy, Wave Veil, get some little protection. If you always want to adjust, add some Jirachi, different water hitters, Lumineon V, those are solid options, especially considering running water energy, which makes it a lot more fluid. But in this case, this is fairly fine in my opinion. Running 10 water energy because we really don't need an expensive amount of water energy. We're not planning to attack with Quaquaval there. It's just Suicune V, Quaquaval EX. And we're not discarding a lot of energy, so 10's a decent amount. We're running Battle VIP Pass to set up our bench. 2 copies of Nest Ball, 2 copies of Ultra Ball. I have a lot of draw potential with Research, Iono, with the biggest of all being Irida. You get to search your card for your deck for a water Pokemon and an item. Really good. 3 copies of Boss's Orders. And 3 copies of Pokegear 3.0. We're just going to be trying to hit that Irida as much as possible. That's going to be the crux of this deck. 4 Steel Stones only at 1 copy, which is alright. We can pop it onto Suicune if we really needed to. Couple copies of Super Rod, couple copies of TM Evolution. And my choice of stadium for this was Path to the Peak. The only Pokemon on our end that will be affected by Path to the Peak are the Suicune V, which will be fine in that situation, and the Radiant Greninja, which again, we can be fine in that situation. They suck, but if we are in a position where we want to play Path to the Peak, it's because their aspects are going to overwhelm ours. Artizone would be a solid option as well, just to ramp out all your Quaxly and Bidoof and Manaphy, but ultimately, I think the deck's alright. I played a couple matches, maybe 1 or 2, and I had no problems with the deck. Didn't go against anything crazy, but you're gonna see a lot of variety. I think this season, series Scarlet Violet has been really good for the Pokemon card game. You've been seeing a lot of deck variety. At the end of Sword and Shield, I just saw the same decks over and over again. And it's because they're good decks, really strong engines, Lost Box, Lugia V-Star. But now you're actually inclined to see some variety, especially with the Evolutions VX taking more of a precedent. I think really what's going to change stuff up is when the next rotation happens and we go from, I think we're in EF right now. D's out, I know. But I think we're gonna go from like FG. Okay. We'll open Suicune. I'm fine with that. And we'll nest ball out a Bidoof. Use Suicune's fleet-footed. The Darkrai sleeves I'm not crazy on. Almost thinking it's gonna be a dark themed deck, which just tends to be Roaring Moon EX. Yeah, there's the Brute Bonnet. It's possible for it to be a poison-based deck, especially considering they opted to go first. Basic Dark Energy. Okay. Could be someone who doesn't really know the deck either. So, let's see. I think my move here is I'm going to fleet-footed draw a card. Okay. Water Energy, that's pretty fine. We'll run this here. Nest Ball. Pick up a Bidoof. We're going to want that more than anything. We'll fleet-footed here. Rare Candy's pretty good. I don't want to waste the Irida, so we're going to pick up Irida. We're going to battle VIP Pass because it's still our turn 1. And since we have the Rare Candy, we're just going to start going into Quaquaval EX. Next turn, of course. Set this up. I don't really feel scared enough to run Path to the Peak. So I'm just going to end turn. If it is Darkrai V-Star, I will drop Path to the Peak because that tends to be more of a threat. Or if I want to fully load up with the B-Barrel, I can drop Path to the Peak. But right now, there's no reason to run Path to the Peak. Roblox abilities have become a bit more iffy in this time. So it's not terrible to drop Path to the Peak. It was very prevalent in V-Star kind of era. Okay, start getting that poison going. Interesting. He's at 180. Let's see how much more he benches. I mean, he picked up Nest Ball for a reason. Suicune V is able to do... Okay, there's the Darkrai. We're going to set up Path to the Peak. We'll fleet-footed first, but... Second Dark Energy. We need him to load up the bench. A good way to count is that a full bench is 100 damage. You get a base 20, and so that's an additional 20. So he's at 160. We're not going to be able to one-tap, which is unfortunate. But we'll be able to manage. TM Evolution's not terrible. It's a nice means to attack. I'm going to leave Suicune V in the active spot regardless. So we're just going to dump the Evolution. We're going to fleet-footed to get our draw. Quaquaval, not terrible, but we're going to want to go into EX. Go right here. Evolve to B-Barrel. Shoot, it's a tough call on what I want to do. Okay, the Irida's not bad. TM Evolution, we don't need to dump another one. But we'll use the Irida to pick something up. Let's grab a Pokegear 3.0 and... not a Quaquaval. Because we're going to TM Evolution right here. We'll dump the Water Energy. And evolve. Yeah, this is fine. Because we can go double Quaxwell. We have super easy access into going Quaquaval EX next turn with the extra energy ramp. So we're going to take poison damage here, but we're honestly in a really good position. Next turn really depends on what I draw, but I might use the Ultra Ball to thin the deck out a bit more than Pokegear. Okay, there's the Darkrai V-Star. Now, he's not going to be able to activate his V-Star ability. And I like Darkrai V-Star. It's an interesting Pokemon. But the Star ability is... it's middling. I'm not opposed to it. It's Star Abyss. You get to put 2 items from your discard pile into your hand. Which, recycling items actually is harder than you may think. Okay, this draw, not terrible. We can work with this, definitely. We'll see what they play. Trash the double Dark Energy. They go for Roaring Moon. So, it's a tough call on what I want to do. I'm not running switches. But we're going to be able to take out the Brute Bonnet. I think my game plan is... Ooh. Okay. We're going to dump the water energy here because we're going to need it. We'll Yono, pick up the Quaquaval, and out of all the stuff, if the Suicune dies, I do want those energies back in the deck for increased draw potential. We'll pick up a Super Rod. And we'll just Blizzard Rondo to take out the Brute Bonnet. I mean, we couldn't retreat regardless. I don't really want to force anything up. Okay, Beetle's not terrible. So let's see. Who they move up? I could see them moving up Beedoo for a defensive measure. Yeah. So next turn, we'll see where they go. But ideally, they don't get the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule onto the Salamence to the point where we can boss his orders. Okay, they saw this Vitality. They're going to be able to draw free. Do they have Dark Patch? Okay, they go Collapse Coliseum. We're not really worried about ping on our end, so I can dump Manaphy very freely. But ideally, they don't have it, because even if we die with our Suicune V, which we shouldn't in theory. Basic Dark Energy. Okay, we'll retreat in Yono or Research to get... Shoot. We need to get Water Energy somehow. That works. That works fairly fine. While it's active, we'll Fleet-Footed. Okay, awesome. We're gonna retreat here. Go up Quaquaval. We're gonna Boss's Orders, bring up the Roaring Moon. They were a bit slow compared to what you would normally expect of a Roaring Moon EX deck. So I couldn't say this deck is gonna be as consistent for those manners, but we're definitely gonna take what we get. The threat of Greninja still is posed, so it's not gonna hurt to take the Manaphy back in. But now we're just gonna Spiral Shot. Take a quick and easy 2 prize cards. Back to the hand's not terrible, since we can recycle it. It's better than going to the trash in this instance. Another Path to the Peak, another Water Energy. Perfectly fine with those. Especially if we get something like an Irida to search out the final Quaquaval, we'll be able to ramp up an additional 2 Water Energy per turn. Okay, he Normans. Norman's interesting. I don't see that one too often. 2 cards. If the opponent's active Pokemon is an EX, draw 2 more. They decide to concede. I don't blame him in that instance. We are tweaking. So let's just do another one to get a good showcase of what the capabilities of the deck are. But ultimately, I thought that was a great first match. I thought that it was fair enough to where we didn't wipe our opponent, but we also didn't get wiped ourselves. And that's what I look for in a match. Dragon Coin's interesting. Here's how much we're gonna go. Elysian Shots. So I see Dragon Coin. There's a lot of different dragon aspects, but my first thought's gonna be Giratina V-Star. Yeah, I think they decided to go first. Honestly, for an opening hand, not terrible. Well, Quaxley. The double Pokegear 3.0, I'm not opposed to. Okay, Greninja and Manaphy, that really doesn't give enough of a tell, because everyone runs Greninja Manaphy. The fact that they opted for us to go set first gives me an unfortunate sign to expect that it is... Shoot. We'll set up Quaxley Bidoof, and we'll use the Nest Ball. I think 3 Quaxley is fine. I don't think you can ramp out the energy fast enough on the Greninja. So we'll set up Suicune. A lot of people just use Greninja as a draw engine, and that's why I can't really confirm anything about it. We'll attach it to Quaxley. Sure, I don't see why not. We'll wait for next turn to get a better chance to draw something with the Pokegear 3.0. Because our deck is going to be 1 smaller. Okay, Cramorant. See, it's a Lost Box combo. You only run Cramorant if you're running Lost Box. Earthen Vessel is interesting, but Lost Box can have such a variety of energies, it's hard to tell. Okay, they decide to go with the water energy. So that means the Greninja is going to be able to get kills with the Moonlight Shuriken on some of our weaker mons. Now, fortunately, our Pokemon have high enough HP to survive the 90. I believe Quaquaval has 100 or 110 maybe. Let's see. Make your move, chap. Yeah. So our idea is with the Pokegear, water energy, we're going to take the opportunity concealed cards, draw 2. B-Barrel's great. We get Pokegear 3.0. Boss's orders we'll take. Sure. Pokegear, we're fishing for Irida. I don't want to give him cards, so we'll research if needed. But we're searching for Irida. No hits. Okay. Final chance to search for Irida. No hit. 100 HP though, so that's nice. 4 Steel Stone is going to be our saving grace in this situation, though we're not going to have the energy. We can force something out with the retreat, which honestly isn't terrible. So we're just going to start alchemy here. Take up, where are you? Irida, there you go. Really a great card. I mean, if you're not running water decks, it's kind of iffy. But even if a deck is not running water, there's so many people who opt in to play Irida just to search the Greninja and just to search up a trainer. Evolve into you. Energy 1, not really worth dumping a Super Rod over. Exciting Dance, we're going to have to switch. I don't know what I'd want to switch into. It's a tough call, but the Cramorant does 110. The Greninja only has 1 retreat cost. If we want our best odds of winning this game, I think the Greninja is going to be the best call. Tough aspect to think of, but I'm thinking next turn we're going to just research. Pull something. Okay, there's the Giratina V. So Dragon Coin, Giratina V star. It's kind of what I was expecting. Beach Court's going to be nice on our end since we'll be able to retreat. He's super slow in his opening. He didn't get any of the comb phase he needed for Lost Box to really do its thing. Sets up a Psychic Energy on Giratina. Now, if he loads up the bench... Okay, no, he retreats into Giratina. So as long as we get... we need a couple of criteria to really get going. Oh, that's right. He's got Beach Court. I was thinking we were going to have to go into Quaquaval, not EX, Scarlet Violet base, in order to set up another energy to retreat off the Greninja, but we don't have to. Okay, so yeah, we're just going to retreat into the Quaquaval. We're going to dump Ultra Ball, might as well. The 1 energy I'm not too worried about, but we're going to pick up Energy Carnival, just to have that confirmation going. The second Quaxley, I can really go into anywhere. Right on. And I want to set up a water energy onto the Greninja. I don't think we really need abilities at this point. We're going to path to the peak. And just to thin out my hand in order to secure more options with the B-Barrel, we're going to attach the TM Evolution. We don't need it at this point. We don't need to dump the TM Evolution right now, but it's an option. Here comes Spiral Shot. 1 tap to Giratina V. Draw 2. Another path to the peak. That honestly helps us out. I mean, he does have options as Lost Box. He's going to be playing Lost Vacuum. It's an easy way to get rid of Path to the Peak. But if he doesn't have it, then he doesn't have it. Radiant Greninja's going to not be able to get that accelerated energy out. The mana fee is a pain. If I had Boss's orders, I'd opt to get rid of the mana fee before anything else. Just due to the fact that Greninja poses more of a threat with the mana fee off the board than on the board. But having that second Giratina, okay, Bravery Charm up is interesting. I wouldn't have expected it personally, because you tend to want to go into V-Star, but it's probably a defensive measure to ensure that he doesn't get knocked out. Let's see, does he just end turn with the Greninja up here? I think with the Irida, I'm going to pick up a Rare Candy Energy Carnival. I'm not really concerned about the Quaquaval. I got heavy attackers prepared for this situation. And where I can't search up anything. If I can get boss's orders, that would be ideal. But if I can't, then I can't. He's also not in a position where he can keep banishing stuff. I think my offensive potential is too great. I'd honestly, if I was in his position, consider conceding. I know that's kind of a conceited thing for me to say, but I try to analyze their hand state because I like to play a lot of decks. Right? I like to play a lot of decks. And so, okay, I don't have it there, so we'll just go Quaquaval EX just to have it. But he doesn't have the energy on it. He doesn't have the energy banished. And you can't confirm the cards in hand in order to guarantee that he's going to be able to go Giratina V-Star, get the grass and the psychic energy in hand to insta-kill the Quaquaval EX. Because 280 is not going to be enough damage to kill me. Plus that banished energy is going to be tough on him as well. Because Lost Box tend to run low energy. Because of the consistency of stuff like Mirage Gate. But he doesn't have it. I mean, he's going to be able to stall out a turn, but how well is that going to help? Okay, yep, there's an Abyss Seeking. You got to draw 2, banish 2, but honestly, I don't know how well it's going to help. I don't think this was the best decks to, or not the best decks. These 2 decks we face are very popular decks you see, Lost Box and Roaring Moon EX. However, I don't think they were the best matches. However, this is an aspect of the game. You get unfortunate with your draws. So, we'll Energy Carnival. I don't think we're going to be able to get the kill, but we will be able to get 230. And that's going to prime us up for a kill on the next turn. As he is running Giratina V, the Bravery Charm will be negated if he evolves. So, Spiral Shot. He now has a maximum HP of 50. Because there's no way to increase the defensive capabilities of Giratina V-Star. And something like the Greninja can take him out. And if that happens to be the case, a boss's orders and a mana fee would be a bit more. Nah, it doesn't really matter. Whatever he goes with next, he'll be able to come back or attack, not come back with the Cramorant. Let's see him make his move. Conceded. Yep. At that point, I just don't think there's any way for him to come back. And I like to imagine that there is, you know. Maybe an Iono. Iono would have hurt my hand because I need the water energy in my hand. And that is a blaring weakness of the deck. If you don't have the water energy in hand, that is a problem. But you can always counter that by running some cards like Switch and Qian Pao to guarantee you have the water energy. Or you can run Lady or Energy Search if you really needed to. Energy Search would be another option to search off the Irida. But that is Quaquaval. That's pairing Quaquaval EX from Paldea Evolved with its Scarlet Violet base set. I hope in Paldean Fates, we're going to see a good shiny variation of both these cards. Because honestly, the alt art's really nice. You look at the alt art, the full art's meh, but full art's always meh. And for a full art, this one's not terrible. But this alt art, that's great. The gold's pretty nice as well. And just the cards in general. It's an interesting Pokemon. And the EX version pairing well with the non-EX version is really interesting. Water's always a great engine to run due to cards like Irida. Cards like Melanie help out. We're only running 1V, so it's not really worth running the Melody. If you really wanted to, you could run Candace, but I wouldn't suggest it. Radiant Greninja actually being able to attack and then being more than just a draw. Super nice. So yeah, that's Quaquaval. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye-bye.